Forget about the stock exchange. Let's talk about the plant market. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan Bain and this is Bain's Botanicals. Today I just wanted to do a short little video talking a little bit about the plant market right now. The plant market right now is insane, and it's been crazy ever since the pandemic, when everybody was kind of locked inside and we realized that plants bring a lot of joy into our lives. They bring health benefits and they bring a lot of mental benefits just to seeing them and taking care of them. I mean, we as animals are inclined to appreciate nature and be a part of nature, and having houseplants brings the outdoors in. The plant market now, compared to even just a few years ago, I'll give you a great example. So I've worked at my Walmart for about 7 years now, and in 2019 all we had was a little table, probably the size of a folding table, worth of houseplants. And even then we would only have that every once in a while. Like, that wasn't even a consistent thing. Now walk into just about any Walmart and look around. I mean, there's usually at least a giant resin run of houseplants. And the same with Lowe's and Home Depot and Ace Hardware and all of these greenhouses. Everybody's gotten on board with this because everybody wants plants now. That being said, another couple of examples here. These are going to be backwards, but I'll put the pictures up. There's a book called The Complete Houseplant Survival Manual, and it's actually a pretty informative book that I got a few years back. But I looked at the publication date because I'm like, man, there's a lot of good plants that aren't in here. I looked at the publication date, it's 2005. I mean, that's 18 years ago. Oh my God. That's crazy. So the information here is still good, but the number of plants in here are dated just because there's so many more now. Even something like this that you guys have probably seen, the Plantopia book, I think this was published in like 2020 or 2021. And even this one is missing some really obvious plants like Cebu Blue Pothos. I mean, how is that not in here? That's such a prolific kind of plant now. But I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, you couldn't get your hands on one just because they were so sought after and rare. In addition to that, we're seeing a lot of new varieties come out of things, and we're seeing a lot of uncommon varieties that are becoming more mainstream. Something like this, it's called a few different things. I think it's Syngonium macrophyllum. I've heard it called like an ice frost Syngonium, just because it kind of has the leaves that sort of look frosted in the center. I mean, it's so pretty compared to a normal Syngonium because the leaves are kind of oblong, kind of ovular, I guess. I guess they're kind of heart-shaped too. But normally a Syngonium has the arrow-shaped leaves. So that's just so neat. And I didn't even know this thing existed until this year. So I picked one up. I actually have 2. I probably need to sell one, but yeah, gorgeous. Or succulents. Succulents are just a bottomless abyss of variety. This is an Andromysius. It's also called a calico heart, because if you look, hopefully it's not too blurry, the heart-shaped leaves kind of look like calico. I think they look like blood myself, not to be morbid, but I mean, they look bloody to me, but you can't call it bleeding hearts because there's already a bleeding hearts flower. So just call it Andromysius, I guess. Really cool. I saw this, I picked it up. I'm like, that's just too neat. Of course, it's doing something crazy. Clearly, it's getting ready to flower. I've also got, of course, the ever popular Thai constellation Monstera. I finally picked one up maybe a month or 2 ago. It's put out a couple of new leaves since then. These are getting easier and easier to find as more and more people propagate them and everything. They're also getting a lot cheaper. I only paid like $100 for that one, maybe $110, which a year or two ago I would have paid like hundreds of dollars for that. So it's nice that they're becoming more readily available. Also, something like this white knight philodendron is getting easier and easier to find. They're still not so common that you can go pick them up anywhere, but this one's got a nice half and half on it almost. And also something that's a little more uncommon. This is a silver band Maranta. Most of the Marantas you see are the lemon lime, which has like the yellow veining in it, and the red, which has the red veining in it. This one has a nice, beautiful silver middle like that. I actually had to order this one off Etsy just because you can't find this anywhere. Like, it's still kind of a uncommon thing. And the bottom of the leaves being kind of that pretty, some of them are pretty red, but yeah, what a gorgeous plant. It's crazy. It's just things that when I think back to when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago. I mean, I guess it was the 90s, but my mom never would have had stuff like this just because you couldn't find these kind of things. They either hadn't been created yet or they just weren't something that people wanted back then. Because I think in the 90s and 2000s, I mean, houseplants are always a thing, like they're always popular, but they were just not quite as prolific then. They weren't quite as sought after. But right now we're in a boom. Like, if you're wanting to get into the houseplant hobby, now is the time, because you have so much variety, so much choice, so much information out there now. I mean, most of your famous like YouTube plant people, for example, like Plantarina. I mean, if anybody watches Plantarina, I love Plantarina. I mean, she just started her channel, I think 2 or 3 years ago, just because there's a desire for that. But yeah, I'm still looking for a more current plant book. I mean, the internet is always a reliable source. The Plantopedia book, the black one, it's still got a lot of good pictures in it and everything. If you happen to find one for kind of on sale or whatever, I would recommend it. I don't know what it retails for. 40 is what it says on the back, but I think I got it for cheaper than that. Anyway, that's kind of the plant market right now in a nutshell. I would imagine that, you know, maybe in a few years it would slow down a little bit, but right now, I don't know. Costa Farms, that's another thing I was going to say. Costa Farms is like looking for new plants to release all the time. They're trying to come up with new varieties, try to find other like genera of houseplants that could be, or I'm sorry, genera of regular plants that can become houseplants. For example, hopefully this one doesn't look too bad. Okay, it doesn't. This guy is a Geogenanthus. This is a relatively new houseplant. Like, they just started to kind of produce these, not produce them, but they started manufacturing. No, that's not the word either. They found this plant, figured out it would be a good house plant, so then they brought it to, you know, Florida, and they started duplicating it, like propagating it or whatever. You know what I mean? Producing it in the greenhouses, and now you can get them, you know, pretty easily. But this is something that you couldn't have gotten anywhere 5 years ago. So it's just really, it's a really neat time right now to be involved in the hobby. I'm not going to set that there. So yes, that's my spiel about that. Hope you guys are having a good week. I'm going to try to pump out some more videos for you guys, get some things going. If you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and I will see you guys soon. So thank you. Have a good one.